Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to all our hearts and minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart,
Yeah.
and Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes. Please
Okay,
and thanks.
please and thanks. Let's not
Yes.
mince no words. Let's just jump into the checkup before
Mhm.
we get into one single more thing. How are you, my
Mhm.
friend?
I am doing okay. I'm doing all right for Saturday. We're recording Saturday evening. I can't complain. This past week, it was yeah, it was a week.
Winter blues. You feeling the
Yeah, like
winter?
I'm just done. I'm over it. Like I'm over this winter's nonsense. Like I just need the summer already. I need some, quality time in the sun. You
Yeah.
know,
Ooh.
yeah, anyway, it's just depressing sometimes here in Canada, in Toronto specifically, with the winter and the cold. We haven't
Yeah.
had a lot of snow. I can't
No,
complain, and I'm
can't
not
complain
going to
about that.
complain. However, okay, you can't do as much. You can't go, as many places. It's kind of still cold. Anyhow, back to the week. The week was all right. I'm here. I'm alive. Thank you, Jesus. And yeah, everything is good over here. How about you? How you doing?
I would say I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you, I think it's low energy because we just haven't had any sun. I know it's winter, but like even for winter, we it's been very very cloudy.
Yeah,
I've had this
just gray.
conversation and
Mm-hmm.
gray. We just have had this conversation with a lot of people because even when there's snow, particularly when there's snow, I don't know what it is. We have a lot of clear skies. So even so, when I
Yes.
say clear skies, there's no obstruction to getting sunlight, like a lot, like
Right?
direct sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know, like sunlight is how we get our vitamin D, most of our vitamin D. And so vitamin
Mm-hmm.
D does play a big role in your general mood.
Yeah.
And so that's why we always call about the winter blues, right? The
Yeah. That's
winter
it.
blues is not necessarily the cold, but it's more like that lack of vitamin D brings your serotonin and your energy levels down. So
Exactly.
I would say that's what I'm feeling. But you know what? I have my health, my family's good.
You know what I'm saying?
I have my
Mm-hmm.
job, and that's just that's a life cycle of somebody who lives in an area where you
That's
go
right.
through four seasons, and so which makes you appreciate the spring and all the seasons actually even more.
That's
So yeah,
right.
so I'll say I'm good. I'm blessed. I will be heading to Montreal early next week. Just for work. I'm not
Nice.
going to stay long because it's winter. I think if it was spring, I would stay an extra day or two.
Yeah.
But it's winter, so I think I'm just gonna go do what I need to do for work and come back. So
Right?
one day,
Mm-hmm.
but get a little bit out of my routine next week. So yeah, I'll
Yeah,
tell you
that
guys.
that too
Mhm.
is getting out of the routine.
Yeah,
Sometimes it can get, it's just the same old, and it can
yeah, yeah, yeah,
bring it down. So when you change, your atmosphere or your environment, like that
yeah.
always gives you a little extra pep in your step for the winter months. So that
Hopefully,
should
we'll
be fun
see.
for you.
Hmm. Okay, so sounds like we're doing okay. We're doing good. We're not doing amazing, but I think it just need a little sunlight, and that would give us so much a quick fix. But here we are.
Right?
So we'll jump into our headlines. So first, we're going to start with some exciting news, which
Mm-hmm.
is we're recording the day before the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And
Big
Super
big
Bowl is
Super
coming
Bowl.
up. It's
Hmm.
going to be the Kansas Chiefs versus the 49ers, or as you want to say, Travis Kelsey versus what's that?
Right?
What's that? Travis Kelsey versus the world. No, he's 49ers is that mixed boy. I don't know
Isn't it?
why
Yeah, he's the first black quarterback, isn't he, or
quarterback
something?
or like he's not the first one, but he's very very good one. He's a very very
Right.
good yes. Mahomes. That's a boy. Like so that's the big
Mm-hmm.
quarterback on the 49ers. Oh, I'm sorry, they're on the same team. So let's call it Mahomes
Mm-hmm.
and Kelsey are on the same team. So it's Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers. And so big things. I think it's going to happen in Vegas. Is it happening in
If
Vegas?
you can't tell, listeners, this is not a sports podcast. Because we just ain't in it. Okay, we just ain't in it.
this is
But
not this is not a sports podcast, which we like to say a lot.
yeah,
But
just
the
put that
Super
shit out
Bowl,
there.
the Super Bowl. I know. Sorry if I'm insulting somebody's listening who likes football and is like, "What the hell
Right.
is
I'm
this girl not?"
sorry. I had to put it out, the disclaimer, because I don't really know all this shit. Like I,
Yeah,
I don't know, nor
it's
do I
yeah,
care.
it's on.
um, it's
It's gonna
football.
be it's football.
It's just not my forte. Basketball, on the other hand, oh, I'm
Yes.
all in it. Okay, so,
hmm
but yeah,
So yeah, it's
well,
going to be in Las Vegas, and everybody
hmm
knows we talked about this last week. Usher is going to be the halftime entertainment. I'm going
that's
to be.
the only reason why I'm tuning in.
Oh, I'm
Thank you.
tuning in, baby. And it's like Super Bowl is a cultural phenomenon, so it's like
Yeah.
it can't you can't not talk about it. It's going to be everywhere, the commercials, everything. So
Right.
I'll be on the lookout for a cute commercial that I've seen so far that is really cute. Is the Uber one with Posh Spice and her husband. Uber
Oh,
Eats, and it's a spoof on a scene in the reality show where her husband, or what's his name, Posh Spice, and the soccer player, what's his
Beckham.
Beckham. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Hmm.
Beckham is
I
like,
only
yeah,
know that because he's cute.
he's,
Okay.
yeah, no, I know his David Beckham. Yeah, I know his name,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
foggy brain right here. Yeah, and there's a scene where he's like, "Yeah, you were rich. You're da 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 da." She's like, "No, I was not. I was middle class." And
Yeah. Right.
it went very yeah, exactly. And it went that scene went viral, and they made like a spoof of that. It's pretty cute. So we'll look out for the other commercials that are out there. And like we said, we were last week we were our last episode we were predicting who else do we think Usher is going to bring on? So for sure, no debate. We decided Lil Jon, not even a debate.
No.
Another one, no debate. I would say is Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, that's definitely
If
no
they have
debate.
if they're really,
Hmm.
and if there's no tension there, I can't imagine.
Well, he's kind of, Usher's kind of a loyal. He's like
He's
loyal
a
to the
little.
people he
That's true.
knows. Yeah.
True.
So I definitely those two.
Here's a rumor based on what people have been seeing that we didn't even cross my mind, which is Alicia Keys.
Ah.
Which I know they have a good song. They have "My Boo," which is a cute song, but I don't think that I don't. That's not like
Mm.
that's not a big. So I don't know how she
And
finessed
I
her
don't
with.
see that being a halftime at the football game type of song.
Right, but maybe like you said, he's a loyal friend. So,
He is.
all
He is. I'll say that. Yeah. Hmm.
right. So yeah, look
We're
out for
looking out
that.
for you, Usher, though. That's the only why I'm tuning in. I'm telling you that right now, Usher. You are the reason why I'll be watching the halftime for the football game. I'm
I
telling you
for
that right now.
and you
Hmm.
know what? I forgot to say that I might be seeing Usher in Labor Day when he comes to Toronto. He's coming to Toronto. He's going on
Yes, I
tour.
heard he's coming to Big Toronto. I said, okay, all
Yeah,
right,
so
Mr.
I might.
Usher.
I'm not sure. Like, I'm having a conflict schedule, but if I'm not traveling around that time, I will definitely be forking out the money to see Usher.
Yes, and speaking of Usher, Usher, I love you so much. You are an awesome performer. But ladies, if he's coming to Toronto, remember that there is very much a rumor the man has all sorts of diseases. Okay, so please stay out of his hotel room, stay away from him if he comes to Toronto. That's all I'm trying to say. We're not trying to have an infestation go on down here in Toronto. Okay? No, I'm playing, but it is a rumor
Yeah,
that Usher, he has the burns.
yeah,
He has the burns. So
yes,
just
yes,
be
yes.
careful. But you're great, Usher. Otherwise, you're awesome. And he loves to serenade and he loves to, dance on people and stuff. So that should be awesome to see if he's gonna do any serenading at the Super Bowl. That
Mm,
I love me some Usher though. Like I said before, he's the king of R&B for me.
yeah.
So, it'll be nice to see him perform.
Okay, so moving on to some local events, Toronto media stuff going on. So Bell Media, listeners, if you're not from Canada, Bell Media is one of our biggest media companies in
Let's just
our.
put it out there. It's the
It is the
top.
biggest. I think it
It
is the
is.
top. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It is the
actually,
top. They
well,
are the huge competitor. They
at
are the
least,
competition. How about that?
yeah. Well, after this news, after this news, I don't know about that anymore. But yes, that traditionally, Bell Media has been the biggest media conglomerate in Canada, and so this week there was news that they had a massive layoff, and they sold off 45 of their 103 regional radio stations. That's almost 50%. That's a lot. That is a lot of media
Jeez,
stations to let go of, right?
that's a lot, especially
And
for Canada. That's a lot.
yeah,
That's a lot,
and they're in the big markets. They're being sold in
right?
BC, British Columbia, Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada, which is like Nova Scotia and those East Canada. And then the job cuts was about, like, I think you're saying about 8%, 7 to 8% job cuts, and that's over, and that amounts. This is tell you how big the company is. Okay, like less than 10% cuts equates to 4,800 jobs. That's a lot.
Jesus.
That's a lot of jobs.
Okay,
I was like, damn, Bell Media.
right?
Whoo!
There's some things going on. That's a lot.
That's a lot of
Even
people.
at 8 to 10%, that's a lot. That's a
Hmm.
lot of people who are going to be jobless.
Hmm.
And, depending on uh, what part of Canada they're going to be chopping those jobs. Oh
Mm.
my. Yeah. Because in certain parts of Ontario, there
Hmm.
aren't a lot of things for you to like get yourself into work wise.
Hmm.
And so, Bell is
And
a
then, like,
huge employer. It's a
yeah, but
huge employer.
in general, but this is like specific. The
Yeah.
media, the media, like Bell as a company let go of 48 people within the last week, I guess. But even like the media section is where, well, they said 10% total job cuts are from media specifically. So it's not all media, but that is still a lot. That's about 800 people in Bell Media,
She's on.
so it's such a specific niche, like media and entertainment and production. Like, like you're saying, yes, job cuts as a whole is bad in a community, but when it's a specific type of job that people do, like,
Right?
like that skill set is very specific to an
Right.
industry. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, even more so, to add on to your point. So prayers up with the
Job
people that
losses,
the
man.
job
Yeah.
loss. And the news also said that it's ending a lot of their evening programs. So evening programs on their TV channels, which biggest one is CTV locally that we
Yeah.
know of, but they
Mm-hmm.
also own like City Pulse, and like they own a lot of big channels. Let's put it that way, as Kim said. And it called the debate this hour and top three tonight on their news channel, and some of their daytime news programming. So a big shift happening at Bell Media. I mean, Bell Media, like we know, or Bell as a whole, in terms of Canadian companies, not just media, is one of our largest corporations, Canadian owned corporations, right?
Canadian. That's yeah.
And
Canadian specifically, because there's lots of large
yeah,
corporations here. However, they're not Canadian owned,
yeah,
and
and they employ, like we mentioned, is like they
that's
clearly
that's what I'm worried for.
they
I'm worried
employ a lot of
because
people.
shoot,
And
that's a lot of
so,
jobs. That's a lot of
mhm,
jobs. Expect like okay, for instance, I'll give a quick example. When you're in Windsor, Ontario, there's not a lot of jobs for you to have.
yeah,
There just isn't. The population isn't large enough. The city isn't big enough. They just don't have the infrastructure. They just don't have the jobs. So some of their big heavy hitters are people like are companies like Bell or the university or like huge businesses like the casino. So when these big places lose jobs or people lose their jobs in these smaller towns that have these huge companies, it's devastating. It could be really devastating because a lot of that particular town or small city works at the Bell or works at the casino or work, you know what I mean? So anytime you get a like a masses of firing or layoffs or whatever, it affects an entire city. So Toronto here, we're a little bit bigger. We're not a little bit in terms of Windsor to Toronto, we're gigantic.
Yeah.
And so, you can find more opportunities. There are more jobs. There are more opportunities available to you. However, it still, listen, I found out many years ago that when my mom was a very young teenager, she worked for Bell.
Oh, lots of they, you know what? They're a good
That's like
company.
the story. That's
That
the
is
story.
no, but there's a lot of no. Now that you mentioned, bring your mom. I have a friend. Like I think they hired a lot of I'm gonna say Caribbean people that I know of that worked at Bell at some point in time. There's
Yeah,
people who worked there like over 20 years before they
yeah,
downsized, particularly in their like accounts. If you remember, it was Bell like and that telecommunications. So it's outside of media. It's a big. That's where we get all our cable and our phone services.
yeah,
Everybody really what they owned. The monopoly was on the phone. Like how
yeah,
what is it?
yeah,
Landlines. Yeah.
yeah. Big time back in that day. And so, when my mom was in high school, senior in high school, she got a job at the Bell.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of her friends got a job at the
Yeah.
Bell. And
Lots
a
of
lot of them used it as a catalyst to bigger things. And a lot of them stayed. But even back then, they did massive firing like this,
That's what
even
I was
back
gonna
then.
say. That's what I was gonna say. That was
Right?
gonna be my
So the
follow up.
Bell, I'm giving context to the Bell being they do this often.
Yes.
They do massive hiring and massive firing, and it does affect communities. It does affect, smaller towns and, and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting what the Bell, because usually what happens is Bell likes to stay ahead of the trend. So back then they realized that automated calling, you didn't call the operator anymore. You would call for an automated system. And so back then they realized that, and they started to let go people quicker, because they started to invest more into the automated system, and so there's no need for all these extra people. So I find that Bell, I have kept in, I try to keep in my ears to the ground when it comes to the Bell, because
Hmm.
there's lots of opportunities when they do come, and you can make a pretty penny at the Bell.
Yeah.
However, understand there is no job security there.
Exactly. That was what my gonna be my follow up is that like Bell has like with all the people who stayed there many years, especially if they were in the accounts type of thing with the landline business when we know people landlines are a dying thing, just like cable, right?
Right.
They
Mm-hmm.
force a lot, not force, but pressured a lot of people to take package out and stuff like that. So been a history, and I think I don't know if it's the nature of the size of the company, I don't know if it's the way they run it, but layoffs is a big thing that has been consistent with this. But I think it has a lot to do with the technology, where
Yeah.
technology is, and just like over overdoing it because like they own so much media, and it
Yeah.
seems like now they want to diversify and let go of like say some of their TV and radio stations, which it could be good. Here's what could be good for like all those smaller people. Like we are
That's
talking about
true.
the new radio station that came for black music, not new, but the rebranding of G98
Yeah.
7 to Flow 98.7, which focus on black music. One of their challenges is signals.
That's
So hey,
right.
now with
Mm-hmm.
more stations available, maybe that's something they can look into and getting a better quality signal. Excuse me for the station. But anyway, that's big news in Toronto. We'll see how it goes. Prayers up to those who no longer have jobs from Bell
Yep.
Media, and
Yep.
we'll
Mm-hmm.
see what happens. Okay, so we'll move on to some semi Canadian news.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of
I don't know if
kind of
I'm gonna claim
spicy, kind of
it.
spicy. I don't know if you saw the video.
I couldn't access the video because I had to confirm that I was 18 or older, and then I had to download this app so
Oh
that I
no, you
could
don't want
see
to
it.
Reddit. Oh, okay,
And
no,
I
no,
was
no.
like,
You shouldn't have.
okay,
You
Drake, you're
should.
not that special to me. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
you
bro.
shouldn't have to do that. But it's on. You could probably find a Twitter
Oh
link
no, I'll
too.
find it,
Mhm.
and I know a lot about it. It was, yeah. But
Yeah, so
anyways, Drake's
Mr.
out in these streets. Okay.
Mr. Aubrey Graham out here again. I could have sworn I've seen his dick pic already. I don't know why, but I could have sworn.
I heard it a long time ago, like an outline. I think he had on some gray jogging pants or
Yeah, for
something like that.
something, so I knew he
Yeah,
was working with something already from somewhere online. I kind of already knew Drake was not.
he's packing.
He was not Mr. Tiny. Um, but yeah, I kind of wish you saw it, but I just so he could know how I'm describing it. But the man was just sprawl out and just
Oh
whipping
my
it around.
god.
It does look like that's why kind of when you do see it, like we can't talk about it here, but when you do see it, I'm like, it doesn't look natural. That's my question to you.
Well,
Is
you know what? I think like without seeing the video, I think it is natural because they've been saying this about Drake
for a while?
forever.
Yes,
That he
exactly.
is, he has big dick energy.
Mm,
He
mm,
does. He does, and because it is. Now some people are more interested in girth, and
yeah,
some people are more interested in length.
yeah.
Now, from what I'm hearing, Drake has the length.
He
Yes,
has the
and
length. Yeah, yeah,
but he
yeah.
doesn't have the girth. Some people are
Yes,
saying
exactly.
pencilish.
That's why I wanted to laugh because it's like he's just like a little hole. It's like not little, but it's a hole.
Very large pencil. You know what I'm saying?
um,
Drake,
but
why you
it's
have
it's
this in the streets,
it's
Drake?
cute how he was. He made some comment. I don't know if it was a meme or a deep fake if he really said it, but he's like, I didn't hide it from the world. I hid the world from it, or something like that
Oh
along those
God,
lines. It's like,
please, Drake,
oh,
I can't.
that's what do you expect from him?
I know.
Um,
It just wouldn't
but
be right if he didn't
yeah,
say something
pretty
stupid like that.
much,
But
pretty much Drake's buddy broke the internet this week. All right,
oh,
and it
God.
was very break the internet worthy. Let me just put it that way.
Well, and he still hasn't said anything about it, right? But Drake, what I will say is, you just need to be a little careful because if you're gonna, bow out gracefully from this game, because you said you were taking a little bit of a break.
It
So
doesn't
if
look
you're
like
gonna
it.
do that, can we not have like this be the lasting, memory of Drake? Like I'm just saying, let your music speak. You
He's
know what I'm
on tour.
saying?
He's on tour right now, so more than enough to for us to forget about that in the next few weeks.
Drake,
Well,
I
some of us
can't
will
with
forget.
you.
Some of us will forget. I don't know. Here another weird thing with this with that leak is that the way men were commenting on this, it was a little bit uncomfortable. I was
A
like, why?
little.
I was like, why is there so much so-called straight men commenting on Drake's meat? Like it was a
I
little
don't understand it.
it was a little off. I'm like 10 years ago, street men would not be so free to
What?
comment
They wouldn't
on
even be looking.
like
They wouldn't even looked. They'd be like, "What are you showing me that for, fam?" Like,
so
nah,
I don't know
I
if
don't
it's
want to
a
see
Drake.
that.
I don't know if it's a Drake phenomenon. I don't know what it is, but
Juicy Drake got the people out here tripping. Okay,
you right? Okay, so anyway, we'll move off of Drake's package. We'll move off of it. Okay,
Drake,
before
too
we get
much.
into our Grammy recap, what the heck? Jonathan Majors.
Oh God.
I debated talking about this, but
I'm
I'm
glad
just
you did.
I'm like, Jonathan, boy, you can't like something. I mean, okay. So like the headline is that two more women have come have accused Jonathan Major of physical and emotional abuse, and these are women he had maybe long or had relationships with. Sorry, I don't know how long or short, but he had relationships, and there are two people who were in the industry. Damn, one of them he was engaged to. Emma Duncan was engaged to him between 2015 and 2019. And wow, and alleges that she once found messages between him and another woman when she visited him on set. And when they were together, she claims that he pushed her on the couch and choked her when she got upset about the allegation, seeing evidence that he's cheating on her, right? And he said, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to make sure you can't have children after throwing her
My God.
across the room. I was like, damn, son. The other woman is So that's Emma Duncan, and then there was Maura Hooper. Quick question. Wait, what do you think the ethnicity of these names? Maura
So
Hooper.
I know for damn sure they ain't Megan Good, and I know for damn sure Megan blink twice if you have a problem. Okay, no, but for
Right?
real, they're white women. Like, let's just
Yeah.
call it a buck. You're white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're white women that he's talking about or was talking to, and so this is
Yes.
why I wholeheartedly feel like Megan, you are only there as a prop. I'm
Mm,
sorry, the contract isn't over yet because this man is going to destroy what career you might have. You being affiliated to this guy, like, honestly, you need to run, Megan Good. Please run.
mm,
Like, you need to run. This looks really bad.
yeah.
Okay? And I'm
This
sorry to say, but they're coming for him.
They're coming for him because it was already bad. It was already bad, right? Just like how the case rolled out.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to. Now they're doing the pylon. When they do the pylon, like they're doing, like they didn't remember. These are women who came up with these testimonies for the trial. They just released them because the trial is technically over and he's awaiting sentencing, right? So that means the media has decided to pick up these stories, or I don't know if they pushed it to get these stories out to highlight these incidences on him, right? And I was like, shit, he's kind of screwed. But what he really needs to do now is he needs to stay quiet. Here's my plan for him, because I, like we said, I still think he can get work. He's just that good, people. I'm sorry. But I think what he
It's
needs to do,
dwindling for
it's
me. It's
oh, now
dwindling.
it's definitely dwindling. He's probably gonna have to do a little he's not gonna be
Yeah,
doing
you
no
have
business.
way too many Beckys calling out your damn
Yeah,
name. Like, you have way
right?
too many.
That's the problem. If
Too
there's
damn
black
many.
women, maybe it could slide, but it's too many Beckys, right? And
There's
so,
too many different Beckys too. Like, can we? Shit. Like, Megan, run, girl, run.
okay,
Shit.
no, but
Ah, there's
here,
too many
I wanna like, and before I'm gonna caveat, like, this is, I do not condone this behavior.
at all.
I don't care what race of
I
woman he's
really couldn't
dating.
give a shit.
This, he clearly has a problem. Like first and
Most
foremost.
definitely. Yeah.
So what he needs to do is kind of do like a eat, love, laugh, pray, eat, pray, love, whatever, laugh, pray, love type of journey, and go to Italy or go to Morocco, somewhere where there's a lot of brown skinned people,
Yup.
and just like, work on himself, because he clearly has an issue, and kind of lay
Yup.
low, refine himself, recenter himself, and I would say he needs to give it he can't reemerge until the earliest end of the year. Earliest.
Listen, he needs to go on hiatus for a year.
Mm,
When I say a year, why am I being so specific? Because in a year's time, you're still remembered, right? You're
yeah.
not forgotten yet.
Hmm.
However, it's enough time for people to forget about what you've done and how much headlines for this type
Yeah.
of nonsense
Because
that you've
this
been
is
in.
crazy. These are crazy
Right?
headlines.
And a year is a long time, I think, for someone to transform how they think and what they do
Yeah.
and who they're around. Like, I think that's a good amount of time for you to transform. But what I will say, Jonathan, is this: I know that you are an awesome actor, okay? But I'm starting to wonder,
Mm.
are you acting just on screen?
Hmm.
I really am. I'm starting to wonder because I don't understand how all these Beckys are coming out of the woodwork, okay? How you got yourself in this position in the first place. I'm really having a hard time. And the type of things, it just seems repetitive. Like, it seems like, is this who you are?
Mm. Well,
Right? So,
now.
well,
Well.
I'm just saying.
Mm.
How come you had all these Beckys and now you want to Megan Good? Like, I'm tired of the charade with them two as well. But mostly I think I have to wonder, are you acting just on the screen? Like, is this an act? Because your track record shows that you're into Becky's, not into this nice, beautiful chocolate brown woman here. So, I don't know. And if you're capable of doing that, I have to wonder, how much
Yeah.
are you more
It's like
capable are
like
you
you
of
said, it's
doing?
kind of like run, Megan, run,
That's
because
all I gotta say. At this point, Jonathan, you need to go on a hiatus for a year. Run, Megan, run. The contract is not worth it. It's done. Girl, get out while you can before you have a story to tell. Please. 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 You are
So
not his Claretta. You are not his Claretta. You need to go. He is not MLK, okay? He needs to go over there and fix himself.
okay. So before we move on, I have to shout out his very odd lawyer again. It's so interesting who this lawyer is. I wonder if it's somebody you went to school with or something because this lawyer is always so his lawyer Priya Chaudhry has denied all accusations of physical abuse, but has called both relationships toxic and that her client was taking responsibility for his role in them, and added
Mm-hmm.
that her client
Seems like you
regrets.
you enroll in lots of toxic relationships.
That's right. That's the theme. Toxicity here.
And who then now I have to ask the question. You're the commonality.
Yeah, you're the common denominator.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then also remember one of the reasons why I fell in love with him was a show called on HBO called Lovecraft Country, and there has been some of the people from the crew on that show who claimed that Majors was difficult with the women he worked with, and he had been accused of threatening behavior and making derogatory racial remarks. And three women made a complaint to HBO, and he was forced to make an apology, calling it all of a misunderstanding, and his lawyer claims he was never told by anyone that they objected to his behavior. So something's murky in the water there, and I think I talked about this when the case when he first was accused by his not current, but his last girlfriend, where people were coming out of the woodwork saying that. I was like, again, I had an issue with people only talking about that once all this was happening. If somebody has bad behavior on set, talk about it when they're on set. You know what I
Right?
mean? So that's just me. I was kind of siding it. I feel like there's a pylon, and like I said, now the case is over, and like it can't get murky with all this other random shit. But the court of public opinion now is popping up with all this nonsense. So that's why I'm like, Jonathan, you gotta. I don't know what you're gonna do. It's fuck. You've had fucked up behavior, but I also see that there's an agenda happening right now. You know,
Definitely.
but because there's been celebrities that's done worse. Like
Oh, definitely.
so, like I'm not saying
But
that
I
he
want to
shouldn't
know
be
who you pissed off.
right because exactly. But anyway, we're gonna leave it there, and I think they're gonna they haven't done his sentencing trial yet, but he's not they're misdemeanor. He's not gonna go to jail. He'll probably have some type of probation period or something. But I don't, based on what I've seen and what I've heard and read, he's not gonna be jailed for those charges that he did
Hmm.
get guilt accused, or I mean he was guilty of. Okay, so we'll move off of Jonathan. Ooh, he's a mess. Jonathan,
Right?
you a hot mess.
Run,
And then
Megan.
move on to music news. And we're gonna
Yes.
do our Grammy recap. Grammy time,
Yes.
my favorite award. I think it's the most. All awards has some BS politics, but I think it's the one that usually, in general, gets it right based on how they choose the people who do the voting or whatever. And people who can vote are recording artists who's ever been nominated or won a Grammy. And there's obviously some old white people in there too, like execs and stuff. But that you know, it is kind of
Yep.
it's more balanced than I think other
Excuse me.
governing boards are. Okay.
People I don't like award shows. I'm not into them.
Yeah.
I only watch them to see what's popping, but to be honest, I don't really care
About who
who.
wins in that, right?
Yeah, like you know why? Because I feel like it's always a popularity contest,
Yes,
and
yeah.
so there's always like somebody who I believe should have had it based off
Mhm,
of the merit of their work and not
mm,
their popularity, and
mhm,
they don't get it. And we gonna
mm.
talk about one of them people today.
Yeah, we will.
Yes, we
So
will.
I think let's start with the outfits, and then we'll get into the politics and the winners.
Yes.
So I was looking at the mainstream media and Vanity Fair, so for who wore what, and then I looked at some black media on who wore what,
Mm-hmm.
and I personally wasn't wowed by anybody for the Grammys.
No.
There was nobody where I was like, okay, yes. The one because the one that I could have won if she it could have said if she wore a different color is that Victoria Monet young lady.
Yes.
I like the dress on her, fits her very well, but that color
Yes.
is literally the same color as her skin tone.
Yeah, yeah, she needed a contrast.
She needed a contrast. Beautiful dress, fits her very nicely, but I don't know understand the reason why she went for that color. I don't
I
know.
don't know either. It kind of washed her out, if
It washed her
anything.
out completely. That's literally the same skin tone that she has. And Babyface looked cute. Nice suit, easy.
Yeah, babyface don't age. That
He
man
don't
don't
age at
age.
all.
I don't give him a shit. Nobody tells me that man doesn't age. You know how old that man is? Like he's at least
He
in
at
his
least
60s, okay?
60. He has to be at least 60 now.
But he looked well. He looked dapper. He looked dapper. He
Yes.
looked well put together, as always. Like, when have you seen Babyface looking a hot mess?
Never.
Never.
Oh, never, never.
Right? So, he's one of the legends out there who I can say he stays fashionable. Like, his age doesn't. He dresses very classic, very
Mm.
classy type man type thing. You know what I mean? But still with an edge,
Yes,
if you notice
exactly.
that,
A
right?
little edge for somebody his age. Yes, that's what I appreciate. I like this suit. Fantasia didn't love it. Like I get like I can't wait till she can get out of this 20s flapper theme because of the movie. I think this was the last time, but I did not love what Fantasia was wearing on the red carpet.
No, but she did an awesome performance. And
Oh
what
yes.
she wore in that performance, I was like, yes, that's giving
Yeah.
Tina.
Yes. Oh
Yes.
yeah, yeah. You know who else is giving Tina?
Miley?
Miley, yeah, Miley. At first, I was like, "What's Miley?" And then I was like, when I saw her on stage, it's like, "Oh, that's Tina." It's like a
Yes.
combination. The hair was like "Welcome to the Thunderdome" hair, like
That's
she's from Mad
right.
Max, and then the outfit was a classic Tina, like kind of.
Very much so. And yeah, she looked really nice too, Miley. I thought she looked really
She looked
nice.
good. Yeah, she looked good.
She still looked young and
Hmm.
still fresh. You know what I'm saying? But she looks seasoned. Like she's seasoned in this
Oh
game
yeah,
there. Like she's
now she
seasoned.
is. And what the hell was Coyle Ray wearing?
I don't know.
She was wearing what? It's funny because she made a comment on Twitter like, "Oh, my Grammy, I previewed my Grammy outfit. I can't believe it, girl. You're literally wearing a panty and a blazer, and
And
like some stockings like that. Don't get me
that
wrong. The accent piece, that jacket, the accent piece is cute, but you weren't even wearing it. If she wore the green
yeah,
jacket,
it just looked like she was just pulling along this huge heavy
yeah,
blanket or
like if
something
she
like.
wore it,
Yeah,
maybe
I think it
I
would have looked fierce. I think it would have
yes,
looked
it should
fierce.
exactly. But I never saw her with the jacket on.
No, and
So
she has a body that
she's mhm.
model body.
Yeah,
It's
she's
it's
tiny. Yeah,
perfect. Perfect
long
for
legs. Yeah.
right long
Hmm.
legs, nice torso. She's very like put like her. She's a pretty girl. Like don't get me
Mm.
wrong, she's a pretty girl,
Hmm.
but girl, put on the damn coat, please,
I'll tell you
please.
who I saw who looked a mess. I'm looking at Vanity Fair. John Legend's wife, Chrissy Teigen. Bitch, what is
I
that?
don't know. I don't know what
Sh-
she's doing. I feel
Um,
like she's holding on. Like she's holding on desperately.
yes, that's what it feels like. But looking at this, she's clearly taking some Ozempic or something because she looks very maga. She was never big. She's like slit. I mean, she was just normal. Like she was never
Right?
big. She's probably always small, but she looks extra skinny. So it's giving Ozempic with her, and which makes she. I don't know. I don't know, girl, what you're doing, but I don't like whatever you're doing. It wasn't working for
Yes.
me.
And I must say, Beyonce,
Ooh, I forgot Beyonce. Yeah, I loved what Beyonce wore because of the theme. It was fitting. Let's put it that
it
way.
is fitting, but I'm sorry, Beyonce. I'm not used to you coming to the Grammys like this, girl.
She could have wore anything, right? But I think if we
If
think
she had
about,
that cowboy hat on, she could have done anything she wanted.
she could have done a lot of things. But I think
I just
and I
was like, Beyonce. No, but you know what?
mhm,
Because of what actually happened, I
mm,
think it was so fitting that she
yes,
didn't go decked out. Do you know what I
there's a
mean?
reason. Yes, that's what I feel like. She wanted to be covert. She wasn't trying. Like, remember, this wasn't her year. None of her albums were nominated this year. She was there for her husband, and I think because and it didn't help that everybody was running up to Beyonce. Like she wanted to be covert. Like her husband was supposed to be the star for the night. So to
But you
me,
can't
I
you can't be Beyonce. You can't be. People are looking.
well,
No, I'm sorry. You just
she tried.
you did try, but I mean, you're on the spotlight even more. If you ask me, people are expecting you to come a certain way, and
Hmm.
because you went totally left, you almost stand out more. Because I
Mm.
think a lot of people were
Yeah.
confused, like
Mhm.
Beyonce, what
I
is
think
going
it
on
made.
here?
I think it was on theme. I think it was on theme because Renaissance is party and like Houston culture, right? So if you think about what people are wearing like to the concert, it's like silver and shiny and like country focus, country like cowboy boots and
That's
like
what I'm saying. A nice cowboy hat with a really
western
cute
theme.
little dress.
So
It
it
would have
and
been looked nice, you know. But I
yeah, but
just felt like she was too casual, like a little on the too casual side.
yeah,
But I
but like
guess
you said,
again,
you understood why
I
you understand
understood
why.
why.
Yeah, yeah.
And their exit of the Grammys, her
Oh,
and
I
the
loved
Carter
it.
family, yeah.
I loved it. I loved it
So I
because
guess it wouldn't have made sense to, like I get it. I get it. Like 100% get it.
I think her outfit was Louis Vuitton. It was custom Louis Vuitton. I think by Pharrell for her. So that was just calling it out. I actually liked it. I know what you're saying for the event. It was thing, but I thought it was a cute. It was cute and on theme, and it was just funny seeing all the footage of all the celebrities trying to say hi to her. And there's a funny one where Ice Spice, it's like, "Oh, I met Beyonce," and then when you see the footage, it's like Beyonce barely shakes her hand and like moves her along. Like I was like, "Oh, poor kid."
See? Mm-mm.
But I mean, there was like literally a lineup to greet Beyonce. I was like, and these are celebrities. it was it's cute, but it's also like let the girl breathe. Like, damn.
Right. She's just a regular somebody,
She's a
people.
regular person. All
Let's
right,
not praise
so
her like a god. But
mhm.
you know what? Tyla,
Oh, she's so cute. Yeah,
she's so cute, and that dress was so right for her. The
mhm.
color, the fit,
Yeah, I like that
it,
color.
it was like a mintish greenish type
Yeah,
of
mint
color.
green. A lot of people didn't stand out, so like yeah, she's one of them that actually stood out and did a good choice. Coco Jones, I was like, no, what are you? Are you a Disney? I mean, I know you're on Disney, but you're not a Disney princess anymore. I don't
No,
know.
I felt like it was a little on the child. Nah,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's like
yeah, it was.
childish, but it's also like like you're not even covered. It's also a little too revealing. Like
Right.
it was like wasn't fitted well. Like I feel like it's falling off her. Like I don't know. There was a fit issue with it too. Like the Disney princess aspect, and also I feel like her titty them could have popped out any second.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was
yeah.
cute. There's a photo of her and her mom going around, and they're like literally doppelgangers. Like her daddy's jeans disappeared in the making of Coco Jones.
Right.
She's a dead stamp of her mom.
Did you see what's her name now? Oh God, SZA. Did you see SZA's dress?
Let me look at. I want to look up SZA. Let me look at. I saw her
SZA's dress
performance.
was simple, but
Hmm.
it had a little flair to it. I thought it fit her well. Celine Dion. Did you see what she was
I was
wearing?
glad to see her. I mean, Celine. Oh, sorry, I just hit my mic. Listen, Celine is always gonna slay. Celine has been having a rough time,
Right?
but when it comes to fashion, no one can chat to her.
No, she's always ahead of the schedule. Like she's always ahead of the time. I was very surprised to see her, but I was happy to see her because
Yeah,
I know she was kind of
she's been
ill.
battling. Yeah, she's been battling. Yeah, that chain that Celine was wearing. That's to let you know, Celine. There's a big controversy with Celine passing the Grammy Award to Taylor Swift for Album of the Year, and Taylor not acknowledging her. And I was like, how bad is it? Like everybody was carrying on. Like, so we have the Swifties trying to defend her, and then we have everybody else, which is the whole world. Everybody loves Dion. Remember the Caribbean acclaim, Celine
What?
Dion as their queen. So don't mess around with our
No,
queen,
man.
Celine, right?
Mess around and find out.
A- And
Because
so I
yeah.
went and saw the video that everybody like when she was presented an award, and it was a little bit like Taylor, you're like literally almost she's at least 34, I think. Taylor's like in the 34 age range, 33, 34. So mid 30s, call it.
She
That
knows who she is. Yeah.
I was like, that behavior was weird. Like, considering that this is like the fourth time or third or fourth time you won this award, and you probably have a shit ton of other awards, you
Right?
were acting like this is the first time you won an award. And she, so Bailey pretty much, it's like she had a lot of excitement, right? So it wasn't as bad when I went to watch it myself. She had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
excitement, and she grabbed the award. She didn't say thank you. She didn't hug her, nothing. And then she didn't say anything in her speech. I don't think she needs to say anything in her speech about Celine. If they don't have that kind of relationship, that's okay, I guess.
Yeah,
But at least say thank you. Like, the way she
I
just
know.
grabbed up the award, I was
Or
like,
just pretend like shit. What's wrong with you?
yeah, like give the fake hug
Yeah,
and
like
or
you should
fake.
know this, Taylor. You should know.
Yeah, it did look a little funny, but it wasn't as bad as what people were saying when
What I want
actually.
to say about Taylor is this: can she get a hairstylist, please? Can somebody volunteer to do this girl's hair? Because the type of gowns as of late that I've been seeing Taylor in,
Mhm.
what is going on with your hair? It looks stringy. It looks oily, greasy. It looks like no thought was put into it. You won a very big award and you just looked a hot mess. Like outside of the dress, it
Mm.
okay, I'll say it like this. You know that there's some people the dress wears them? Yeah, that was one of these situations right here. The dress was wearing Taylor because honestly there was no vavoom to you. Like I just need someone to do your hair. That's it. I just need to no because honestly, like you're this huge international star, okay? And every time I see your hair, you look like,
Yeah, well, one thing I'd say, the hair was not appropriate for what she was wearing. That's for sure.
no, and she never is. It looks like she literally rolls out of bed, okay, with her hair and just, oh, I'm gonna put it to the side and go to the Grammys. No, fam. I need you to wash it because it looking stringy, it looking greasy, okay, and I need you to put a style in it. Put something, put some dazzle razzle something. Like I just need her because I feel like Taylor always falls flat of looking really polished. You know what
Because
I'm
of the
saying?
hair, because of the hair,
The
right?
hair, like, go back, you'll see. This is her. Like, this, she doesn't ever do her hair. Somebody volunteer, please.
Okay,
Okay.
so we talked about Miley already with her Thunderdome outfit, which I love the commitment of that, and she's honoring Tina, so I'm not gonna say anything else. There's two we have to talk about. We have to so Ice Spice
Yes.
with her baby fat outfit, which was
Now,
people were trying.
we're not in the 1990s,
Well, here
early
here's
2000s.
where I can give her a bone. Here's where I can give her a bone. It's very on brand, Bronx, New York girl. How they've kind of rolled her out. It's on brand, but come on, man. This is a Grammys, and they wanted. I felt like she's one of the artists that the Grammys want to. You can kind of tell who is a darling at the Grammys, and she was actually the way they rolled it out. I think she's a potential. She was. They want her to be a Grammy darling, and that outfit, I mean, while on brand, it was a little too on brand. Like, why couldn't okay, you keep the jacket or maybe give her like a white or black satin skirt to off cut it, like to give it some class, to give it red carpet like look. It's
She looked like she was going to like I don't know some backyard business. Listen,
yeah.
I understand it's on brand,
Mm.
and I like baby fat clothing,
Yeah.
but there's a lot better baby fat out there than what she was wearing.
Mm.
There is. Baby fat was very edgy and urban wear back in 1990 to
Yeah.
the early
Early
2000s.
2000s for sure.
And so I can say, yeah, that's definitely on point with her being from New York, right? I get that, but baby fat has had so many other nicer things than what I see her wearing. I'm
Yeah, so
sorry, it looked kind of it wasn't appropriate. It's like you didn't catch the memo. You
no,
didn't
no,
get the
no.
memo.
Yeah, and the final one that I have to bring up before we leave is, I'm sure, probably on your list too, Doja Cat.
Well, I will say before I talk about Doja Cat,
Yeah.
Summer Walker. Listen, Big
Oh,
Bird.
Summer, Big Bird, Summer, Big Bird, White Bird, Big White
Okay.
Bird.
I was like, what the hell? Where the hell do you think you are looking like
I
a
mean,
pimp?
she
Listen,
looked like a
girl,
pigeon, but you know what? It cut a, it was an interesting photo on the red carpet. Let's put it that way.
it was. And you know what? If you had ixnayed the hat, the dress would have been just fine.
Yeah, I think without the hat,
The
yeah.
hat, yeah, the hat just made it too much. You were just Big Bird up in here. But yes, you were saying,
So Doja,
mm,
I was like
Doja.
Doja girl, her half her nipples was out. I was like, did you have a baby? Like her nipples were nippling. I was like, whoa, not nipple, the areola. She's
My
pretty much
girl.
wearing a sheer. I don't like the shoes. I just is it her nails aren't done. I don't know, Doja.
The girl
I
looked
don't
like
know.
she's been possessed by some sort of demon, Brethren. Like honestly, I really feel that way because when Doja just came out, if we all take a trip back in her career, when she came out with that Moo song, she
Yes,
was
yep,
fun, she was
yes.
light, she was airy. Then all of a sudden, it took a deep, dark turn.
Hmm.
And what we're seeing, first of all, I didn't know the girl had that many damn tattoos.
No, no, they're
Second of
fake.
all,
She doesn't. They're fake. The one like on her chest and stuff. The one on her head. They're all fake. They're all fake. She has
oh,
tattoos on
okay.
her arm. She has tattoos on her
I
arms.
know she had some, but I didn't know
Yeah,
there was
she's
that
not
many.
covered. She's not covered. Yeah, those are fake.
Right? And so, but even those tattoo choices that you made, I
Hmm.
was like, there's something very demonic behind you. I don't know what it is. You didn't look very nice. I'm sorry, you just didn't.
No,
You,
it was not a good look. That's what I'm just calling it
not at
out.
all.
Hmm.
I thought she looked horrible, if you
Hmm.
ask me, you know,
Yeah,
and
it was just too all over the place. It's like, what are you trying to
Doja,
say
I
here?
feel like you need to take a pause. I think you and Jonathan Majors need to go on some sort of island for the next year and take a
Hmm.
pause. Because I just feel like with Doja, there's too much very demonic energy around her. And I'm not even talking about her music.
Hmm.
I'm not even talking about her music, because that definitely you can see it. It's
Yeah.
there. However, with how she's dressed, like how she carries herself. You know what I'm saying? Doja, I know you like to be edgy and that's the whole, Doja effect, but in the same breath, you just I don't like her. I
Mm.
don't like Doja anymore. I don't. I let go of that girl a long time. Because honestly, she's giving me this vibe where this, I don't know how to explain it to you. I really don't. But all I can say is that there's a lot of demonic energy around that girl. You
Mm.
can see in how she carries herself, how she was dressed. You're basically naked on the carpet. You were basically naked on the carpet because that was a very sheer
It's
dress.
sheer, yeah.
Very, very sheer. So, and nobody cares about your damn nipples, bro. Like, nobody
Yeah,
cares.
I think it was too. It was just it. I don't know. There's just too much going on. I don't really know what she's trying to say. It's one thing where you're half naked or you're extreme, but at least I could be like, okay, I know what you're trying to say here. Like here, and then she's wearing her glasses, the tattoo on her head. I don't know what you're trying to say here with this outfit.
Exactly. And
It's
it's
the
so, like, I can take a very good juxtaposition type of clothing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I like that, right?
Hmm.
However, I felt like this was too off. Like it was
Hmm.
too off. Doja, you seem like you need some help. You really do. And I don't know if it's because of your home life, your brother just knocked your teeth in. I don't know what's going on. Okay? But there's something about you that is very unsettling. And I think you need to go on a bit of a hiatus, go make some music, maybe stay out of the awards for a while. You don't look good. You don't. She didn't look good that day, tell you that. And I wanted to say one thing about Fantasia.
Hmm.
Fantasia, girl, what's going on?
What now? What do you say?
What's going on? Because I've seen different shots of like Fantasia going to interviews,
Yeah.
and some of the shots that they'll catch her in what she's wearing
Hmm.
looked 10 times better than that dress that she
Yeah,
had
that's what,
on.
yeah. Her outfit for the Grammys was very questionable. I was like, what?
Yeah, I have to ask that stylist, that black guy that's styling you,
Mm.
was he drunk? Because
Was he there?
well, I don't know. Okay, did you do that yourself? Because I don't know, it just wasn't. You missed the mark.
Yeah, I agree.
You looked beautiful. Your hair, your makeup, even that lip thing. It was great. It was different.
I like that. Yeah.
But the dress was too matronly. It was
Mm.
too not young and fresh and
No.
vibrant. I don't
Mm.
know. I don't know. I just
Yeah,
didn't like it.
I agree with you. Okay, we'll move out from the outfits, and I'll just call out a couple of the top categories that we would be interested for the culture. And there's a lot of stuff going on here, but okay, because we want to get into we have a juicy workout. We don't want to think. So okay, so album of the year, which is kind of was Taylor Swift Midnight, and the controversy around there. And for the sake of context, because this is the biggest award of the night, I'll list the albums. So there was Boy Genius, The Record, Janelle Monáe, The Age of Pleasure, John Batiste, World Music Radio, Lana Del Rey, Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, Miley Cyrus, Endless Summer, Olivia, Guts, SZA, SOS, which that was my winner, based on just what I saw for the year. Not any other bias, right? And then
Hmm.
Taylor Swift Midnights. And the controversy with Taylor Swift Midnights, because we know Taylor Swift is a big force to be reckoned with. But of her albums, Midnights by her fans' own accord was like what in the middle of like mid, as the kids are saying. Like it wasn't one of her greats.
Yeah. Um. Huh.
And then so for best new artist was Victoria Monet. Happy to see that. She beat out Coco Jones and Ice Spice. I think Ice Spice was probably at the top of that. Just like I said, the Grammys, I think she's going to be a Grammy darling. And so, but Victoria obviously deserved that. Let me go rap. Oh, so the rap album categories, Killer Mike got all of the rap categories.
He sure did, but
And
I will
mhm,
say
mhm.
one of those categories. You see, the Grammys likes to play. They like to
Oh,
play
I
too
know. I
damn
heard.
much.
Yes, yes. I know what you're going to bring up.
Okay,
Yeah,
because they called out Nicki Minaj for one of those awards that
yeah.
Mike
On
had won.
Twitter, yeah, on Twitter, and I think it was best song or something on
Okay, and I
Twitter
think
and
that's
on the
one of the
site.
reasons. That's one of the reasons why Ice Spice decided to go and try to represent New
Yeah,
York
she was
with the
supposed
baby
to
fat,
win. Yeah, she was supposed to win.
right? And
I agree. I
so
think that was going to be the original. That was supposed to be the case.
yeah, and so they were playing in Nicki's face. They were playing in her
Yeah,
face, and
and
then he ended up winning it. So I don't know. I don't know. Was he really meant supposed to win it, or was Nicki really supposed to win it? And they just because of what's been happening with Nicki as of late. I don't know. They're just trying to play in her face.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I think there was some politics with her. There's always been, like we talked
Yeah.
about it last week, why it's one of her reasons why she has this battle against the music industry, as like you said, they literally been playing in her face, and they played in her face hard on the Grammys.
Yes, like this girl is so blackballed. She will never see it. She will never see
Yeah,
those
and I think she
Grammys.
needs to accept that. I think, yeah, because
Kind of that she has, but if you come and play in my face like you just did,
mm,
yeah, me and you have a problem. I'm making a song specifically about the damn Grammys
mm,
and I'm gonna make sure it's on every album that I got because you're not gonna play in my face like this. But it's nice that he did win a lot of awards.
yeah, he does. And I don't know if you remember, like I think we definitely talked about that album, or at least I did, on our show when it came out, and I already knew from listening, like this was like perfect. It's a perfect recipe for your Grammy. Very true, honest, amazing production, amazing sound, and he actually deserved it. Definitely for the album, he deserved it.
And it's too damn bad that his ass got arrested right
Oh, I
after the damn
know.
Grammys.
Yeah, but I think it was like, you know what I think it was, based on what I read. He came up there. He was really excited, and he came up there with his boys. So I think like maybe like one of the security guards were kind of like trying to puff up their chest, and he's like, "Move from go after me!" Like you're just like, "What are you trying to do?" And then he got arrested, which sucks. But
And
hey,
it's
I
so
don't know.
stupid. It's so
It's
stupid that this black man just won all these damn awards,
Yeah, I
and then
want to
he
hear
has
from him. I want
right.
to hear. Yeah, I want to hear from him on that. I think he did it. He did one interview since the award, and he didn't want to
Yeah, and the
touch on
Breakfast
it.
Club, and he definitely tried. I believe it was the Breakfast Club that he did the
Mm-mm,
interview on.
no, I think it was like Tigger's radio show in Atlanta. I
Okay,
think.
well he did because I did hear it. I heard
Mhm.
it, but anyway, he tried to stray away from that. Like
Yeah,
he tried to
exactly.
focus, and I do want to get back to focusing on that. Like I don't want that this black man works so damn hard to get to this point, wins 3 awards, and what we talk about is him being arrested.
Yes, and that's kind of why I want to hear from him, but maybe he's not ready or I don't know what's going on, but I would love to know exactly what happened from his lips.
I think he wants to forget it.
Okay, and that's fair too, because it
I
sucks.
think
Because it did
so.
take away. I think it did take away a little bit from his moment. That was his moment, and him leaving in cuffs was like fucked. And finally, I just want to call out best R&B performance is ICU Coco Jones, well deserved. That song was everywhere. That song is I still love hearing that song.
Mm-hmm.
So shout outs to her. So we'll move on. The Grammys was a fun night, and we.
And thank you, Fantasia. Thank you for doing your damn thing for Tina Turner
Mm-hmm.
because you embodied Tina. I'm sorry.
Mm.
You sure did. You were doing all the dips, all the shakes, all the I was like, "Okay, Fantasia. Okay, girl." Because Tina is an icon.
Mhm.
Okay? And she
She
was a
is.
trailblazer in her time.
Yep.
And so I'm just so glad that she got acknowledged and that they found someone because sometimes the Grammys they miss on the people who
They can miss. Yeah.
right who really will you know give
And I'm
acknowledgement the way it
and
should
I'm
be given.
and
And
I'm
so I
glad
think
they gave.
Fantasia, I think you did an awesome job on that girl. Go ahead with your bad self because you did the damn thing. You didn't do it in the proper dress, but you did the damn thing. That dress that you performed in was hot. I
Mm.
was like, go ahead, girl. You know it. Miss Tina is looking down and she's proud. So,
Yes, yes, yes,
but
yes. I'm
that
glad she had that
Grammys, that
moment.
was nice recap on the Grammys. Let's see what happens next year.
Yeah. So we're gonna move into. We said it's Black History Month, so we wanted to carve out a moment for Black History for each episode in this February. And so we said Kim and I will just select a moment or person or figure or something we want to
Mm-hmm.
shout out that's relevant to Black history for our February episodes. So I'll start. So relevant, cluing in, previewing a little bit of our workout session, which will be about Monique's interview on Club Shay Shay.
Mm-hmm.
In her interview, she brought up the fact that she wasn't the first one to talk about the disparities in pay in Hollywood and stuff as a Black woman, right?
Right.
But she said, obviously there's, we pay attention to who we want to pay attention to. And so she brings up the fact of the story of Claudette Colvin.
Mm-hmm.
And Claudette Colvin was before Rosa Parks.
Yes, it was. Yes,
We
she
know about
was.
Rosa Parks, the story of Rosa Parks, where she refuses to move to the back of the bus, and that's in the South, right? Claudette Colvin was based in I believe, in the East, in New York region. And so, yeah, Rosa Parks, that happened in Montgomery, Alabama, the boy in 1955. That began in 1955, right? The
Mm-hmm.
story, the story with Claudette Colvin is she was in New York, March 2nd, 1955.
Wow.
So, and the story goes that the bus driver ordered her to get up, and she refused, saying she paid her fare and it was her constitutional right to sit on the bus. And two police officers put her in handcuffs and arrested her. She was in high school.
Jesus.
Her school books went flying off her lap. And she says of that incident, all I remember is that I was not going to walk off the bus voluntarily. So she refused to move from the spot. It was Black History Month during that time when it happened, and her segregated school, she was studying about black leaders like Harriet Tubman and the slave
Mhm.
movement and freedom networks and stuff like that. And she just felt compelled that day for some reason, after going through all the lessons and stuff of Black History Month and talking about injustices. And she said she just couldn't do it that day, right?
Mhm.
And of the incident, she says, of the times of during her time in New York, is that she couldn't try on clothes. You had to take the brown paper bag test, and you had to take the brown paper bag test and dry your foot on a store. Can you imagine? You want to go and buy a dress and they won't
Yeah.
even let you try it on.
Like just
And so she says, my head was just so full of Black history, the oppression that we went through. It felt like Sojourner Truth was on one side pushing me down, and Harriet Tubman was on the other side of me pushing me down. I couldn't get
mm-mm.
up as they were threatening her to get out of the bus.
Wow.
And so she says she remembers when the jail door closed. It was like a Western movie, and I got scared and panic came over me and started crying. Just remember, this is a young girl. I think she's probably like 15 or 16.
My gosh.
And I started crying and prayed the Lord's Prayer. Now, so why don't we know about Claudette
Well, this is
Colvin,
it. That's a good question.
right?
Cuz she just didn't fit what I guess at that time was deemed as acceptable. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe she just wasn't the face of the movement. I don't agree with it because I think she
exactly.
she was the movement. She started the movement. And, back then, word of mouth, everything spread real quick,
Mm.
because being that you're black, when you hear about something that's happened or someone who was arrested for being on a bus, those words spread quickly. So who's to say that Rosa Parks didn't hear about this
Of course,
strong
yeah.
young black woman who,
Yeah.
and she said, you know what, I'm doing
I,
the
I'm
same damn
gonna
thing.
I'm gonna correct myself. So Colvin moved to New York later in life. This actually also happened in Alabama. This also happened in Alabama. It was just Birmingham versus Montgomery. So Rosa Parks was recorded in Montgomery, and this incident happened in Birmingham, Alabama. And so going further to the story of why, you know, we don't know about her story, and you kind of hinted at it. She said, when asked when she was little, why little is known of Colvin versus, and only people think of Rosa Parks when we talk about that movement of sitting at the back of the bus. She says the NAACP and all the other black organizations felt Parks would be a good icon because she was an adult. Because remember,
Right?
this was a young lady when it happened to her. She was in high school. They didn't think teenagers would be reliable. She says Parks had the right hair and the right look. Her skin texture was a kind that people associate with middle class. She fit the profile, to your point. And that really, I think, is what it is. I don't think it was just her age. I think it was also the look.
Yeah,
And she
definitely.
said after her arrest, she found herself shunned by parts of her community. She experienced various difficulties and became pregnant. Civil rights leaders felt she was an inappropriate symbol for a test case. So
See?
she didn't fit the image. We're going to talk more about that. She didn't fit the image. But you know what? This young lady has told her story. And like people who want to know, if you want to know, if you look, you will find Claudette Colvin. So everybody remember this brave young
Mm-hmm.
lady. She was a very young girl, maybe 15 years old when this happened, and she had the courage to stand up and even go to prison at that time.
Right?
So yeah, so that's
Yes.
my part. Who did you have?
So, right, to tie in with what you were talking about, the image, right?
Hmm.
So, this past week, they've had a lot of reminders of people in the past and black history and
Hmm.
what they've done and their excellence, and I came across one which was Jay Morrison, no, sorry, Jay Morris Anderson.
Mm.
She actually was the creator and producer of the first Miss Black America pageant.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, right. And I feel like it tied in perfectly with what we were just talking about, right? Because
Hmm.
black people, black women specifically, did not fit the model Okay. And so we couldn't take part in Miss Universe and Miss this and that. So we had to create our own lane. And it could be compared to when I thought about it was Monique. She create her own lane. She has created her own lane.
Hmm.
And so we had to do that. And this black woman who decided, you know what? Black is beautiful. It is beautiful. And I'm going to find some way where I can put them on display. And so in 1968, August of 1968 was the first ever contest. It was the first ever Miss Black America pageant. And it went against all ideas of what a pageant should be. Right. And so at that time, it was Becky with the good hair in the pageant. Okay. And we'd all have to sit back and watch. And so Miss Anderson said,
I
no,
want a quick thing. Are you sure it's a woman or a man?
it
Because I
is a
looked it up.
woman.
Okay, because I'm seeing another a
No,
J
it's a
Moore.
woman that started it. It's a
Okay,
woman
okay.
that started it. If I'm incorrect, please, listeners, drop a comment and correct me. But from my understanding, when I did look her up, it is a
Mm,
woman. Maybe I'm wrong.
mm.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let me double check that, people.
No, I'm looking. Don't worry. Continue though.
Right, but anyhow, my point in mentioning this was because there's been many a times we had never had our own lane. You know, we had to kind of break through and make our own. And so it's nice to see that our excellence, our beauty was definitely appreciated with our own pageant, which was the Black Miss America pageant. And so it's nice to see that it's now where we don't have to have our own and we are
Mhm.
integrated and we are winning these pageants left, right, and damn center. Okay, I believe what year was it Miss America and she was actual I think she was black, like black, like dark skinned black woman. But anyways, we're always carving out our own niches. And we can see in black history that even Claretta,
Coretta Scott.
she carved out her own niche because she said, listen, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't care what you people got to do. I'm not leaving. So we had to stand strong, and so it's nice to see that black excellence is being noted in our segment here today. But we are going to move on
Mhm.
from our Black History moments into our workout because we have to talk about this, people. We can't. We have to talk about it. Monique. Yes, so we're in the workout, and this is where we exercise our mental fitness and do deep dive discussions on issues that are affecting us. And Monique, you are affecting us because Monique went on Club Shay Shay, people. Okay,
Ooh,
Shay
okay.
Shay. I don't know what you do with Shannon because you have people like
It's
I don't
Shannon
know.
Sharp. It's Shannon Sharp's year. That's all I gotta
It
say.
sure is because he can't. He's steady in the millions of viewers, steady in the millions. But not only that, I think Shannon. I'll be honest, and I want to give him props because
Mhm.
he has a knack. I've noticed since I watched this last interview he had with Monique. He has a knack of letting people talk. Just let you talk. Yes, I know with Cat Williams, he couldn't get a word in edgewise,
Oh
even if
hell
he had
no.
something to say, because Cat was running that damn interview, okay?
Hmm.
But he let him. He
Yeah.
let him. And I feel like, when something great is about to happen, sometimes you need to know when to shut the hell up. And
Yep.
Shannon knew when to shut the hell up. He knew that who was in control of that interview. Now, in this interview with Monique, he had a little bit more to say. He had a little bit more questions. Some of them were a little redundant, I'll be honest.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Yeah.
But I think he didn't like I think Shannon is also still learning, and I
Hmm.
think he just has a natural disposition where people want to chat to him.
Yeah.
They just want to talk all their business to him. You know what I'm saying? Because he lets them and he makes them feel comfortable. And so, Monique, you are feeling comfortable in these streets, okay? Monique called out everybody and their mother in this interview There's a few people mentions that I would like to talk about. One is Tiffany Haddish. Oh God. I felt like the mic dropped when Monique was addressing Tiffany Haddish. The mic
Mm-hmm.
dropped. And Shannon, you were right there to pick that mic up because Shannon, you're not easy, you're not easy at all. But then also she talked about DL Hughley, which, she talked about him for quite a bit, and I think it's because they still have a bit of an ongoing feud.
Yeah.
She did talk about, her husband, Kevin Hart, which I want to talk about because I'm off of Kevin.
Mm.
100% off of Kevin. I was off of Kevin when he walked away from the accident that he had those two people in. Yeah, I was off of him from then, but this solidifies it. So let's get started because, we want to talk more about this and the perspective of this black woman. Monique, we love you. We do, but listen, Auntie Monique, we ain't your babies, okay? I'm just so sick and tired of hearing you say babies this and babies that. I ain't your damn baby. Okay, so I'm sorry, Monique. Let's bring it in. She did talk about her family and stuff like that a little bit, and we've heard in the news that Monique, her family, she's very disconnected from her family. Even her children, they don't really mess with her too much. And I want to say that because why? Why is that, Monique? Why is that? Are you and Zaddy too in love where nobody can penetrate that union? Like really? No, but for real, for real. So in her interview, Shannon. So they got to the topic of Tiffany Haddish, where Tiffany Haddish did an interview herself, and she had mentioned that she didn't want to have a husband like Monique's because I guess a lot of people think that he's too invasive in her career and he has a lot to say, and a lot of people feel like he shouldn't have anything to say. But she set the record straight, and her union with her husband, one thing I'll give it, is strong. It is very strong. Her husband is been 10 toes down from the get-go, from a decade ago, okay, and has always been on her side. And so Monique decided to say, well, Tiffany, maybe you wouldn't have DUIs if you had a husband like mine. Maybe you wouldn't, be in a situation where you look like a predator, if you had a husband like mine. And to me, that was a mic drop
Mm.
because a lot of people have a lot of things to say about this woman's husband.
Yeah.
Why can't she have her husband there? Why? Why is it such a faux pas? Like, why is it so bad for her to have her husband involved with her career? He's also her manager. So why shouldn't he be there? Well,
Mm-hmm.
according to DL Hughley,
Mm.
okay, he's too much in it. He's too much in it to win it. And you shouldn't have to pay your husband. You shouldn't have to pay for your man to be around. That was DL Hughley, not me, because I do
Mm.
think a man does play a value in especially in her industry. He has a value, and so I don't think that we should just disregard him. And also, let's look at their relationship. It works for them. It works for them. So why does anybody have a problem with that? And Tiffany, I think that was a low blow. I don't think you should have talked about her husband. I think you should have kept that to yourself. But Tiffany Haddish has a lot of things to say about people sometimes. Anyhow, let's go into the other person that I really want to talk about was Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Well, when me and you was talking tonight, you said you don't fuck with Kevin no more, okay?
After this, yeah.
Yeah, and so tell me why. Tell me why you're not messing
Yeah,
with Kevin no
so
more.
yeah, there's a few key moments in this interview with Shay Shay, which I was expecting a lot of repeated stories that I've heard before, but there are some things seeing it in its entirety was and she's very clear in her timeline and her position on things and why she has spoken against who she's spoken against and why she stands on what she stands on. And so it was still, even though, it's a long interview, it's over 2.5 hours, almost, I think it was a slightly even longer than Cats, but it's a good watch first and foremost. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so to your point, that one of the things that stood out to me that she mentioned that was new for me is she spoke about the story with Kevin Hart, in that he, after, when she was struggling during her blackballed period, where it was very difficult for her to find work and sustain her family. Kevin Hart, she did an interview with Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart was talking to her behind the scenes to be like, okay, we're going to try and make this right. And he tried to connect her with Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry was like, no, fuck that. And he lent her money. She paid him back. So he was being helpful. He was helpful. She says he was helpful from the beginning, and then he continued to push and say, "Oh, how can I help you? What do you want to do?" And she said one of the things she was trying to do with her production company was to restart her Monique show, her talk show. That's what she wanted to get off the ground during her time of being blackballed, and he said that he would help her. And long story short, after him saying yes, da 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 da, and she told her production company it's a go, Kevin is going to partner with them. The production company called her back and said, well, somebody from his team, let's say, I can't remember the name, but let's say his name is Bob. So Bob calls the production company and says, no, Kevin is not, wants nothing to do with Monique, right?
Wow.
And she was like, what? Because remember, the man told you, yes, I want to work with you.
Right?
Let's do it. Da da da. So she's like, okay. So she picks up the phone and calls Kevin herself. And Kevin's like, no, this is a miscommunication. I don't know what they're talking about. Da 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 da. I'm gonna fix this. And in her story that she recounts on Shay Shay, that was the last time she heard from Kevin Hart. That's the
2 years
last
ago.
time. Two
Hmm.
years ago, this happened. And to be honest, that really hurt me because hearing that this was probably her one lifeline, your own show. So she was lucky she had a deal with her production company where she could even, like, BT. I don't remember. I think it was on BT. Like, BT didn't own it, so she had a way of literally coming back with this show. So that was one good thing she had at her corner. You have control. It's your show. You don't
Right.
have to do audition. You don't have to read script. It's your show. So all she needed was a little bump or a connection with Kevin Hart and his connections. That could have definitely happened if he was really true to his word. But it's one of those things, we talk about giving face, and I felt that was really one of the things that I felt sad about, because you know what, if we know about human nature, we're lucky she's strong, we're lucky she even has her husband, because sometimes that's your one, maybe you said, okay, this is my one thing, like if I get this off the ground, I'm good. I kind of have a win. I need a win after so many years of people literally controlling my destiny, right?
Right. Hmm.
And so for somebody who you think is your friend, I'm putting myself, if I, somebody I think is a friend who helped me, gave me money, they literally helped me have conversations, tried to help my situation. So my in my mind and my heart, I'm thinking, oh, his intentions are pure. This person has good intentions for me, right?
Right?
And then to
False
find
hope.
this,
Hmm.
that can destroy some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me to hear that now, like I already thought like Kevin Hart's work and his specials were mid and not that great anyway, but I still like, believe in his story, his work ethic, and I was kind of like, I'm like, okay, he's all right. He's an okay guy. But after hearing this story, I'm off him. It's like
Right.
that's terrible.
Well,
I'm totally
initially
off
I
him.
was, me too, and I said it a little bit earlier, but I at one point was definitely on Kevin Hart. You know what I mean? He's a funny guy, but when
Mhm.
I heard that he got into an accident, he had three people in the car, and he walked away from the accident. Like he ran away and left those two people trapped in the car to the point where the car caught on fire, and people who were in the surrounding area that saw it had to go and help those people out of that car. So the fact that, I think it was a few years ago when
Mhm.
Kevin, he was injured and he
Yeah.
he couldn't walk, and everybody was like, what the hell happened to you? How come you can't walk, bro? Well, that
Mhm.
was the accident for that.
Mhm.
And he left those people, he left them to die. So after that, I was like, okay, Kevin, you ain't that funny no more, friend. You're not that funny. And ever since then, mid to me, his shows were bad. It's the same thing over and over again. And to be quite honest, he stopped being funny for me a long time ago.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's because, you know, Kevin, you are mid. It's just you had great work ethic and awesome
Mhm.
connections.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. I'm going to be, call a spade a spade. Now, it was sad to hear that that's what you did to Monique. It was. But
Mm.
I've heard a lot of things about Kevin Hart over the years. First of all, he has a gambling problem. Second of all, he's a cheater, a philanderer. So this doesn't seem far fetched after I've heard these things about him and know what I know. So I think that it was a lifeline that was false. It wasn't a real lifeline. I think
Mhm.
he might have been, helping you in the, just to say that he helped you, but I really don't think he wanted much to do with you. Nobody did.
It's
Let's just keep
scary.
it a buck.
We're gonna keep it a buck, and she calls it out in interview, in that, like, when she's asked about the difference between when Shay Shay brings up the Taraji thing,
Yeah.
where the debate came up, where everybody was like, wait a minute, Monique said this, and everybody was like criticizing Monique, and now Taraji comes up and says exactly the same thing in terms of Hollywood and pay disparity and stuff, and shed some tears, and everybody's like
Doesn't that
rallying.
sound familiar? Like what we were just talking about in the Black History Month moments?
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I brought that up, and she brings that story up around that same time.
Exactly.
And uh where I was going with this is, yes, so she says that people just want to say they, them, the
Yeah.
producers, the directors. What I did is I
Yeah,
named
she
the
put
people,
everybody up on blast.
and
Everybody.
there's power in truth, and I believe that. And but what we also know is that when you name certain folks, and I think, I don't remember if she says this, or if she brings it up, but there is a risk that you take when you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if she knew. I don't. To be honest, I personally don't know if she knew the extent that that would have on her career. I think you know what I mean. I think we all think she probably knew that people didn't want to hear it, but maybe, I don't know if she knew the power of naming Tyler Perry and Oprah like that
Even
would
if
have,
they did do it.
like, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, even if they did do it, I don't know. Personally, do you think she knew it would have this? I
I
don't
don't
think she
think
knew
she thought it would have lasted this
this long.
long.
Yeah, I think that's what, like, I think that's probably what caught her off guard. She doesn't say it, but I could feel like I don't think she expected this impact. Like
No.
she said, she lost millions of dollars by not working for years.
Yes.
So
And
I'm
Tyler Perry
assuming
should reimburse her for that because
that
it was
is
his fault.
well, I have a question. I'm gonna have a question on that for you before you move on. We're gonna talk about another big thing in that interview that she put a different twist on for me, was talking about Oprah overstepping her boundaries. And basically what I got from her story now with Oprah is that Oprah was a kind of, I got the feeling that Oprah is kind of jealous, was kind of jealous. That's what she was trying to say. The way she told the story was that she overstepped her boundaries in many ways, and there was some conflict with, like, auditioning for roles that Oprah got. And so there's like something going on there. She doesn't really explicitly say it. She uses the word overstep boundaries, but she's basically trying to say that Oprah is a hater.
Oprah is a hater.
Hmm.
I'm going to say it on this podcast right here. Oprah is a hater. She's definitely a hater. And I think she tried to knock Monique down a size and didn't
Hmm.
work out for her. I
Hmm.
think that Monique was too strong for Oprah.
Hmm.
And I say that, and it might sound weird to a lot of ears because we look at Oprah as being such a mogul, so strong
Hmm.
in the industry. However, I think it took many, many years, decades of Oprah to get to the status where she is right now. And I
Hmm.
think Monique was a force that Oprah just couldn't tolerate. I don't know why. I don't
Hmm.
know what it is, but you trying to bring her family on your show to talk about an
Yes,
issue as sexual abuse, honestly, Oprah,
distasteful.
I'm sorry, you were out of line for that. You were out of
Hmm.
line. I think that you bombarded her, you overwhelmed her, Monique,
Hmm.
that is, with this whole, maybe she didn't want everybody in the world to know about that. And I think
Yeah,
Oprah didn't give a shit. And I think that she was trying to humble Monique because at that time Monique was she was doing big things.
that's after she won her Oscar. That's literally a short
Right?
time after she got her Oscar. Yeah.
Big things. And so Oprah was like, "Oh no. I'm the only big black woman on this TV here." Okay, you need to pipe down. And so
Yeah.
she tried to pipe her down, and it didn't work. It didn't work. It backflashed. It slapped her in the face. But you know
Hmm.
what I want to say about Oprah? And just coming off of the Black History moments, but Oprah, there's something really sinister about you. And it's starting to come out. And yeah, you might have been a great TV show host. You're a mogul in the communications department. You're great at all that. But there's been, in the last little while, more and more telling of who you actually are, Oprah. And I'm starting to question the hype that is Oprah. I am, because how she's been moving as of late, the Ozempic is getting to your head, girl. Okay, because you acting the fool out in these streets. Okay, big 70-year-old woman, but right. And I think Monique was very devastated that her icon, in her eyes, like Monique looking up to
Yeah,
Oprah,
she does. She tells a story about that. Yeah.
she looked up to her, and you basically tried to humiliate her and embarrass her. Who told you she wanted that story on blast? Who told you she was in a in a position to be having a conversation about this
I think it's
on
not the story
TV
that
with her
bothered her.
family?
I don't think it's the story that bothered her. I think it was the fact that she had her abuser right there in her
Well,
face.
yeah. And I think that Monique already, she's obviously dealt with a lot of that trauma.
Hmm.
However,
Yeah.
you're putting her in a situation where it's not highlighting her accolades anymore. It's like highlighting her struggle,
Hmm.
and for many years people have said that Oprah doesn't appeal to a lot of black women. Her demographics is a little different.
Hmm.
Oprah, I think you were out of line. I'm starting to look at you sideways from Hawaii days, from what happened in Hawaii. I've been
Lots.
looking at you sideways, Oprah. But what I will say in terms of Monique, you came for the jugular with DL Hughley. Okay, you came for the jugular. You and DL need to hash this out. You
I don't know how
really
they're
need to
gonna do
hash
it
this
because
out.
it's messed up. It's really messed up
It's
on her
really messed
side.
up because you have DL Hughley calling you broad and all sorts of things. He calling you broad now. Okay, girl, you've been demoted to broad. So no, but I wanted to touch on that because it does also entail sexual assault that DL Hughley's daughter had to go through, and Monique mentioning it. Right, so it's like, here's the kettle call. Here, you're doing the same thing, Monique. You did the same thing. I
Okay,
know you
so
weren't. It wasn't necessarily the story, but you're putting a young black woman into a very uncomfortable
yeah, that's
situation,
where I'm not with her on that. It's like if you want to
right?
jump on DL, but don't bring in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
well,
tough.
Oprah did it to you,
Hmm.
and now you're gonna do it to her. So
She
I'm
tried
fine
to
though.
backpedal when it
Oh,
happened,
she
but
did backpedal. She backpedaled and pussy popped all the way to the apology line because
yeah, yeah.
she did apologize. And I will give Monique that. When she is wrong, she will apologize. She will call it out and she will say it. I was wrong. And I do apologize to that young lady. I think it went 100% left. But DL Hughley is, also calling out Monique. And, maybe she felt defensive. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems very. It's so funny because when I actually think back to what started that, it seems so. It's like petty, but it's not like for their industry. I guess it's just like, but it's something that's very important. I guess when you're a comedian, who's the headliner, and like,
Right.
so I'm trying not to like downplay anybody's like position on that, but also like from my point of view, not being a comedian, it just seems so petty because did you not go on stage? Did you still not get the same money?
Right?
You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's the accolades that
I know,
they're
yeah.
kind of fighting over a
Yeah, it's
bit.
prestigious. The headliner who goes last, that's the
Yeah.
prestige.
Yeah,
So,
it's a coveted, part of the
mhm,
show, really, when
mhm,
you think about it. That's who people are coming to see. Everybody
exactly.
else is like, "Oh yeah, okay, Kiki." However, I came here for, you know. But yeah, it is petty on how that all started.
I had one question for you before. Just so one of the things. So Shay Shay asked. what will make it right? What do you
Mhm.
want now? What do you need, right? Because we've seen her, she's working again, right?
Yeah.
She's settled the Netflix thing. She got her special,
Which tanked.
which was not good. Straight up, I want a Monique to win, but she did not put in the
You did
work.
not win. You had 10 years to prepare, girl. I'm sorry, you didn't win.
But she's working again. She's doing movies. She's back, right? We could say she's maybe not back as she wants to, but she's at least, very least, she can work and make money for her family.
Right.
Here's my thing. She says, like we said, she lost out on millions of dollars, but not by not being able to work. And for Tyler Perry to make it work, she said he needs to pay her, right?
Right.
Realistically, here's my question now, given that context. Realistically, is he going to pay her that money?
No.
No. It's just because now it's gone too long, right? It's gone too long. And we already see how he is with his wigs on his set. He's kind of stingy with the money.
Thank
So,
you.
just out of principle and his stinginess, I don't think she's gonna get that. But maybe it's a role. Maybe like that's in like a perfect world. If like that's far fetched, but I think the best she'll get from him, the best,
Mhm.
if he really was, if it was put on his heart where he wanted to open the door again, he says he's done, but if he did want to open the door again for whatever reason,
Right.
remember he has all the cards, so he
Right.
doesn't have to do nothing if he doesn't want to.
I think, to be
But
quite honest, I think
mhm,
what will it take? What it will
mhm,
take is Monique has shown us that she is a truth teller.
yeah,
She's very much a truth teller. She's willing to put her career up
yeah, she
for
did,
telling the truth, which she
yep,
did.
hmm.
And in all that time, you couldn't write a damn special. But anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even
Okay,
gonna go there, Monique, because
okay,
that was horrible, girl. It was horrible. But anyhow, with all that said, I think she wants the truth to be told. I think that
hmm,
what it will take outside of money is for them to publicly acknowledge what
yes,
she
that's what,
has said
hmm,
and that it is true and that they are wrong and for an apology. And
yes,
I
yeah,
think she'd
she
be
did
able to
say
move
that,
forward. I think she would because
hmm,
she's about the truth. And one thing I'll give Monique is that in this 10, 12 years that she's been on this tirade, she has stood 10 toes down and never budged, never quivered, never. She's
hmm,
been on it. Even when her
yeah,
family is struggling and they need the money, she never recanted a statement. She never
hmm,
went back on what she said.
that's
She's
true,
been on it the entire time. So I'm sorry, those people, you gotta tend to look and say, she's telling the truth. And
hmm,
if she's telling the truth, she wants the truth to be told. And I think that's what she wants.
yeah,
That's what she really needs. Now, in terms of money, if they really wanted to like make it right monetarily, give her her own show. Give her her own show.
hmm,
I think that's what it will take is for
yeah,
her to be able to have her voice heard and everybody can see it and that nobody is willing to shut her
yeah.
up.
I
And I
mean,
think
I
she's
didn't
been
think.
trying to
Hmm,
like you're not going to shut me up. I think that's what she's been trying to say to us for the last 12 years.
hmm.
So, I think that's what it will take. DL Hughley? Okay.
Oh,
Now,
he's
sir,
a footnote in this. To be honest,
he is, but he's DL Hughley is on Monique's attack list because right now it seems like a lot of her energy is focused on, talking about that, especially in the Shay Shay interview. And DL Hughley, I feel like if you were in her position, what would you have done? And if you can say that you would have done the same thing, then do you wrong her? And if you can't say you would do the same thing,
they're essentially doing the same thing, though. Like
but
just like.
essentially,
Mhm,
but Monique is being vocal about it. She's standing 10 toes down on it. She has not shaken or quivered from it. Even when her livelihood has taken a great hit. So DL Hughley, could you do the same?
oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, could you do the same as her? And if you could do the same, maybe you could see where she's coming from. You know what I'm saying? But if you can't do the same, then maybe you should respect the fact that she did and you can't. So that's all I'm saying with DL Hughley. Leave her alone. Stop calling her broad. It's not nice. You just don't do business with her if that's the case. Kevin Hart, you was a damn lie. You was a damn short ass little lie. Okay? And give her show. Publicly apologize. Not where you had to be recorded. Do it on your
Mhm.
own. Do it on your own. Oprah? Yeah, Monique's done with you. She's done
Oh yeah,
with you.
clearly that's done. That's
She's
done.
done with you. And Oprah, I'm on my way. I'm on my way, girl. I'm on my way to be done with you too, because from Hawaii, that's all I gotta say for you.
I what I pray for Monique, and what I sense is, and my concern and why I asked that question is, eventually
Hmm.
you have to let this go, right?
Right?
And like you said, a good point, which she did actually say in Club Shay Shay, she wants a public apology from Tyler Perry and Oprah. Maybe she's not, it doesn't sound like she expects anything for Oprah, but from Tyler Perry in particular, because he's the one who actually really spread the lies. Like he said, he's the one who admitted, well, she has the one where she has proof that he actually
Right?
told people not to work with her, right? And so I think if he were to publicly apologize, I think that would do a lot for her spirit. I think.
Yes,
I
I
think
do
this,
too.
as much as she's been strong and she has the support of her husband, and she has
They're
now
never
a
gonna
lot,
work again
and she has
together.
now a lot of public support from people. I think for her spirit, at the very least, that public apology will do a lot, because I do feel, even hearing her talk about this, she still has a lot of pain about this. Like she
Yeah,
hasn't really moved on, and I get why. I mean, she's articulate, perfect. Like this is like, it's like literally like she couldn't provide for her family how she
yeah,
was before, and
yeah,
she had to beg, borrow, and do whatever she needed to do to survive. And that probably took a blow. As somebody who's won an Oscar, I'm sure that her pride was, we shouldn't have pride, but that would be a blow to your
Well, I
self-esteem,
think
right?
I think what really is hurtful to her is that I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys want to bury me
Mm.
because I'm telling the truth? Like, I'm not out here lying. I'm not making up stories. I'm telling the truth. So, you're supposed to be the black people that I look up to in the industry. And I'm telling the truth. Yeah, I can see how she's hurt.
Mm.
And I have to say that you started a great conversation, Monique, about 12 years ago, and it's rehashing itself. And it's, maybe it's because of Taraji, whatever the case might be, it's rehashing itself. And I hope that, you know you can find solace in that you've made a difference. People are having the conversation, and they're equating this conversation with you. So you've started a movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've started a movement specifically in Black Hollywood, and I think that's a lot to be proud of, Monique. But Daddy, you need to just, take a little seat, okay, Daddy? Because Monique, I think you need to come more into the forefront. Not to say your husband should go anywhere. I think he's your protection. He's
Yeah.
valuable to you in your career.
Mm.
But I think maybe you need to start moving, you know,
Here,
being the
here's
person that does the moves and
here's
not
the
someone
advice
else.
I'd have.
Hmm.
If your husband, he's your manager, do I know who Taraji P Henson's manager
Thank
is?
you.
That's just all I'm gonna say right
There
there.
you go. Drop the mic. Okay. Drop that mic right there. And we're going to leave it right there, too. We're
Mhm.
going to leave it right there, too. And we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.
Bye.